Hi, I'm Ray. Well, today we're in the garden and I've got salvia. So we've picked this up from the local supermarket and we're going to give it a prune and give it a tidy and see if we can recover it in the garden. So salvias are great for birds and bees, and they send out these long spikes with purple flowers, and we can just see the very remains of the purple flowers. So this is looking a bit worse for wear. It's got a yellow ticket on it, so I'm going to stick this in the ground and give it a prune. So let me show you what we're going to do. So this is our salvia. It says easy to grow, attracts bees and butterflies, suitable for beds and borders. Upright spikes of tiny flowers which make a showy display. 45 centimetre height, 30 metre spread, placed in full sun to partial shade in fertile, well-drained soil. Water well until established, and in dry weather apply a balanced liquid feed every 2 to 3 weeks. Protect from severe frost, and perfect to brighten up summer beds, borders, containers. Cut back after flowering. So that is our salvia. So if we take a look at our salvia, outdoor salvia, we can see it's still green. There's lots of dead leaves, but we've still got some flower spikes, and we can just see the final spike. It's just got a bit of purple on, and purple flowers attract the bees and the insects. So I want some of these in the garden. So I'm going to look at this plant and see if we can get it restored back into health. Give it a prune, give it some love. So let's see what we're going to do. So if your salvia is rather dry, might be a good idea just to sit it in a bucket of water for half an hour and let some water soak up. But this one is actually quite wet, and it's probably too wet, as the supermarket has tried to recover them in store, just chucking loads of water on them. So this is nice and wet, so we don't need to worry about soaking. We'll let those other plants soak in there. So if we look at our salvia, we can see the flowers come from stems, from leaves. So my first job with our salvia is I'm just going to remove all the dead leaves at the bottom. We don't want this causing any diseases. Removing all the old dead growth. There we go. It's going to help it for a start. So if we look closely at our salvia, we can see the blooms come out a point above some leaves. And we're going to get our snips and we're going to go down just above the set of leaves, and we're going to give it a cut. Removing all the spent ones. There we go. Done this one. Give it a cut. We've got a nice big one here. So when the salvias bloom, they start from the bottom and they work all the way up until the top. And even if there's a little bit at the top, they still attract the bees. But when they're completely gone like this, then that is time for them to go. And they're not going to produce. I'm going to cut this one down. And here we go. So they need pruning twice a year, and they can get a second flush. What these will benefit is actually directly grown in soil in the garden, but it needs to be well drained soil. If it's a clay, then they're best grown in a container. I'm going to cut that one down. And we can see this one's just still got a little bit of flower on it. And there we go. We cut off these diseased leaves. We don't want them. That one I'm going to cut right down. And here we go. So, one left. There we go. Remove that leaf. So we're now down to a nice looking plant. And one last job I'm going to do. I'm going to plant this in the ground. The roots are just a bit golden, and directly in the sun it's going to pick up more nutrients from the ground and recover. So it should take about 4 to 5 weeks for the blooms to recover. So my next job is to plant it in the ground. So salvias need a good sunlight. So they need like 6 hours of sunlight, and they can produce some lovely blooms. There we go, looking good already. How's that? So we need to keep it moist. There we go. So this is all the dead-headed flowers, and that's what our salvia should look like. So let's go and plant it in the garden.